Websites, like I have a whole different perspective on how websites should speak to the consumer. Because what I have found, we'll just touch on this real quick, is everybody's talking about themselves. Okay. I'm a business. All I do is talk about myself and a business, how great I am and how we do quality work and this. We do all these things that I hope you do all those things. That's already assumed that you're not going to do bad work. Welcome to the Sharpen the Spear podcast, where we help home service pros cut through the noise, sharpen their business tools, and reclaim the profit, freedom, and impact they've been missing. I'm your host, Richard Walsh, Profit Freedom Coach, and I'm here to help you stop grinding and start growing. Let's sharpen the spear. And we are back on STS Sharpen the Spear podcast with another incredible guest. I've got Lindy Nowak with us today, and we are going to get into some great stuff. And of course, I'm not going to tell you any of it now because that's not how I roll. Lindy's going to do that because no one knows Lindy better than Lindy. Lindy, we need the backstory. Bring us up to speed, and we'll get into this great conversation.
Sounds great. Well, like you said, my name is Lindy Nowak, and I am the founder of Up in a Day, and we deliver turnkey professional websites to small business owners and micro business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, tech startups quickly without the headache. And a little bit of background on me. I am from Michigan originally, so Midwest connection there. After graduating from Michigan State, I immediately found myself in the corporate world in New York City, and I worked at several companies, including L'Oreal, Carol's Daughter, which is a hair care company. And I moved into publishing after that, and I was at Bon Appetit magazine, Women's Health magazine, and Entertainment Weekly. And what was interesting about those specific positions is that I was the creative director on the marketing and sales teams at all three brands. And that experience is what led me into pretty much entrepreneurship and what Up in a Day is today and the value that we provide now. I learned so much in corporate, and it's so funny because if you were to ask me any other time, I would say I am not fit for corporate. I never really fit in. It just wasn't for me. In fact, my entire huge family from Michigan, they're all entrepreneurs. They're artists, they're restaurant owners, they're warehouse owners. And I am the only one in the entire family that went into the corporate world. In fact, the only one that moved to New York City and took a go at it. But it was great. I was very successful. And my last position, which was at Women's Health, I left because my boyfriend and I got an opportunity to move to Miami. And when I moved to Miami, I knew I was no more corporate. And so I started my own business. I did a little bit of freelance here and there. I have great connections in New York with some larger companies. And I started doing a lot of branding and digital marketing. It rolled into a small digital marketing firm. 2 years later, we were doing really well. And what was happening is I started getting a lot of referrals coming to us, desperate for a website yesterday. At the time, we were building really big websites in Squarespace and Shopify, and I didn't have it in our margins or our systems and processes to help these small business owners, like literally desperate. Like they would come to us, and I still hear it every week. So I speak to a lot of people every day, and it's so sad. Their developer disappeared. They spent $10,000 on a website that they don't know how to use. The plugins are outdated. Their cousin designed their website. They designed their website. You name it, it's happened. I'm sure a lot of listeners are nodding their heads and smiling right now. And I sat back and I was like, wow, like why in the day of the Amazon buy it now button why isn't there a turnkey, easy, professional, successful solution for busy business owners. Like I know we're all busy, but truly the ones that are wearing so many hats trying to grow their business or get off on the ground to get really great websites up and running and, websites that truly work for their business. And at the same time, my business at the time was called Lino Creative, and I was feeling a little strapped. I was a little burned out. I had always dreamt of creating a productized service. And one day I was watching a webinar about this guy was teaching you how to do just that. And it just clicked. I was like, okay, you do the exercise. What do I love doing? What do I do really well? And what can I make a lot of money in? And now I'm doing the 1, 2, 3. And that's how Up in a Day was born. Like literally in 5 minutes, I had the entire concept.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah, it's, your journey from corporate, like that's something I never could have done. Okay. I mean, you at least went through it for a number of years. I was standing in line for college, like with my little check and my little schedule, and I'm looking around going, you got to be, there's no way I'm doing this. I ripped it up and threw it in the trash and left, went and joined the Marine Corps. I'm like, there's something about these large gathering of people that I don't like in a place, and everyone's doing what they're told. And it's very anti-entrepreneur. So I was kind of, not that the Marine Corps didn't do like 10 times that. Okay. As I found out. And that's why I did 4 years, because I don't take direction well. So, excuse me, but I get exactly where you went to. And I love that you found the opportunity, even though you started the other business and that's rolling, you're doing it, kind of serving a little bit larger clientele, but seeing this opportunity, this window for these, because you're right. I mean, I have all kinds of website stores. I've been doing this, I've been doing my business before the internet. So I was in when you got to spend a lot of money, like $41,000 on a website and 8,000 and 12,000, and you got pretty much nothing. Okay. Or you didn't need it after you figured it out. So yeah, we've all been through those stories, and I deal with clients as well, right? They need this stuff, but it's a very different thing now. Websites, like I have a whole different perspective on how websites should speak to the consumer. Because what I have found, we'll just touch on this real quick, is everybody's talking about themselves. Okay. I'm a business. All I do is talk about myself and a business, how great I am and how we do quality work and this. We do all these things that I hope you do all those things. That's already assumed that you're not going to do bad work. That's amazing. That's wow. I thought you would surely tell me if you're going to do rotten work. So I like look at it and I'm starting to go, yeah. And then you start looking at an industry and they're all saying the same thing, right? It's basically this, it's a cut and paste. And they got some, like, it doesn't make me want to, it doesn't help me choose. How about if I put it that way, right? It doesn't, here's my 5 websites of the same people, the same industry of I need this service. And I'm like, I don't know how to choose. What, she's prettier. I don't know. He seems smarter. I don't know. You know what I mean? So do you deal with that at all? Because that's been a big thing for me lately. And I've really been trying to correct my owners. Like, let's flip this a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm so glad we're starting on this topic because it is all too often that you get to a website and you don't even know who it's for, what they do, how to get it. And, is this for me? So when I started the model of how we work and what we deliver, a huge part of, getting of what we deliver are websites that speak to our client's ideal audience in their voice, in their client's voice, so that you can relate, connect, explain it to a kindergartner, make it super, super easy for them to book. But yes, like uh, typically we see business owners doing a lot of the copywriting and we get caught
Mm-hmm.
up in our own head. And so we over deliver the message. We want to tell everybody everything that we do because I get it, because in a sense, you're like, and we do this and we'll do this for you and we do that for you. But that's implied because the person at your website already knows what they're there for, but
Right.
they don't know if it's for me. They're the ones paying you the money. So what do I get in return? What is the ROI? What is the deliverable? How long does it take? extremely simple and super, super clear. So we're really big on messaging. Like, yes, of course, we're great designers, but websites should be more. And for the value that you are getting and the investment that you're putting in for this website, it should work. It should convert no matter what industry you're in, e-commerce, service-based, website for confirmation. It's crucial, especially now, everybody is shopping online. They're going from website to website, especially if you're a local business.
Mhm.
They're looking around.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really fascinating. Because I started, so I go to regions, I do stuff nationally, right? So I go to a builder in this one state and say, well, let's look at everybody else who does exactly what you do, high-end custom homes. Let's take a look. And then we start pulling them up. Oh, and I'm like looking, okay, yeah, it's really nice. Oh, look, he's got drone photography. Okay, that's the separator, right? Like, oh, he's floating above the house he built. They're all beautiful. They all show the outcomes. Okay, so you don't know. So I'm looking at them like, well, like, oh, you okay? Everyone's got a great finished kitchen. Everyone's got a great finished home. It doesn't help me choose, right? Like, because
right.
I always tell people, Lindy, that I can show you like 4 pictures of beautiful restored kitchens, right? Remodeled kitchens. They're amazing. I said, okay, so now buy 4 different contractors. Let's go talk to the homeowner. And I'll say, oh man, it's a beautiful kitchen you have. Yeah, thanks. Well, tell me about it. Well, I'll tell you, I never do it again. Okay, because this is the worst experience of my life, right? So they talk about all the stuff, right? End product, most guys get end product right, right? They
Right.
may hate each other. They may hate each other, okay, and want them to go away now that it's done. But they're not like still friends. So I started looking at like, well, what's the actual experience? Why aren't you talking about that? And you don't hear anything on these websites from the customers. You'll get testimonials. Don't get me wrong. Oh, he's a great. That's everybody's got testimonials. You need story. You need like story to come in this and what the journey was like and what they went through and how this experience was and whatever. We're really talking to their pain points. Because like take this for example, they're building like their final dream home. Okay, let's say it's their big custom whatever million, 2 million, $3 million house. Guarantee they've built homes before. Okay, this isn't the first home they've ever built, so
Beautiful.
they've all got the horror story, right? They of some sort, they've all got one way or another, no matter what. Again, if you've been in business, you've experienced creating a horror story for someone, probably, right? Because we're not perfect. So that's what I'm talking about. So it's really great when you're talking about deliverables from a different point of view, but also the simplicity aspect. Like it's the who, how, what, when, like all that stuff is so important. And the challenge, what I found, Lindy, is like getting all that in the right place without making it look like a an info sandwich smashed together. Right. So it's kind of a challenge, right? Just to kind of get them through and get that flow going on that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a design challenge and a user experience challenge. We have a formula that we go by for everybody. It's the catchy headline that's clear, a descriptor underneath if needed, depending on the industry of the business, like exactly what you provide to whom, and then an intro to the company. Usually we'll go into some kind of pain point or education, followed by maybe some stats, for example, and then right into the services because it's really important, especially now. People do not have they have no attention span,
Right.
right?
Right.
So getting right into the services or the offering or the product that you have or you're selling, followed by a couple testimonials, and then what we call everything underneath the jargon. So everything that you want people to know about you or the value that you provide can go underneath that. But the top part of the page, even on the service page, maybe even a little bit about on the about page, like providing the value to your ideal customer is crucial to capture them at the top. It's really, yeah, I give a lot of webinars and I say this all the time. It is about you, but really it's not.
It's
It's
not.
really about your ideal
Yeah,
client.
it is. And it has to be. It has to be that. And that's the whole thing. What I've done with my clients is trying to get, it's actually not about you.
Right.
It has nothing to do with you. Okay. If you don't understand your client, well, are you going to live in their house? You're not living in their house. So the same about you, right? So it's like you got to you have to get in their world. You have to completely, literally stand in their shoes. So I guess that's figuratively, but you want to look back out and go again. What are the real pain points? what does this actually look like? And and take it from a sales position, right? What's the best way to do sales is to overcome objections before they arise,
Mhm.
right? So think about that when you're doing copy. Okay. And I know there's a lot of great ways to write copy now, easy ways, and other, those other people, American One people are doing it. But I'm just saying, like, you have to think, how do I overcome those objections? Because again, you can just do reviews, look at reviews for other who's ever in the industry, and go find all the stuff that everybody hates. Go to all the negatives, right? And then you'll have a top 10 in a heartbeat. Okay. And now those are what you're going to address. Okay, those are what you overcome before it comes up, right? So they understand, like you understand their pain, right? So I love that. I love that if you can start thinking that way, again, it really isn't about you. When I see these websites, it's always about them,
Right.
and it's just
Out of
for someone
10.
to think that you're no good, they're looking at your website because they think you're no good, right? And you got to convince them. There's an old saying that I always loved. I think it was in Newsweek in, like, I don't know, the 70s or something, but this guy said, being powerful is like being a woman. You have to tell someone you are, you ain't. Okay. So I always
Right.
apply that. Like, if you got to tell people how good you are, okay, you might not be good. If you have to keep telling me how honest you are, I'm pretty sure you're not honest.
Exactly. And it
Right.
sounds desperate and it
Right.
sounds way too cheesy and way too salesy. And it's a red flag now because
Yeah.
people know when they're reading websites if it's right for them or not. We have so you mentioned, storytelling or,
Mhm.
connecting with your ideal buyer on your website. We built a website for a custom home builder who knew exactly who he was talking to. He was talking to women my age in their 40s, successful, no kids, in a certain area of their state, who were ready to buy, had the cash offer ready to go. Like
Mhm.
he knew where they lived, he knew where they wanted to live, what they did. And so part of the process, which we can talk about later, part of our process is really getting to know our clients and
Mhm.
their ideal clients. And so it's a really fun one because I got to put myself in the client's shoes for
Yeah.
once. And so we formatted this website specifically for that woman. And it's a success.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
think, sorry. I think ICP, ideal client profiles, is what most businesses I work with, they don't have. They haven't defined them to a really deep, like a deep, deep degree. I have multiple worksheets. Like, I'm looking for details beyond details. And I say it's an ongoing process because you're going to learn more as now that you're thinking about it, you see it, the old RAS in the brain. You're going to start thinking like, well, what do you mean? Where they shop? What do they read? What do they read? It matters.
yeah.
It matters where they are, online, offline, all this. How many kids? How many bicycles in the house? I mean, how many cars in the house? What's the value of the cars? What's the medium household income? What's the all this stuff we have to know, the demographic, geographic, right? All the psychographics, all that kind of stuff that you can build out is so important. And once they define that, what they find is they create a true niche, right? Because before they're doing kind of wide net. Anybody who needs anything, I'll do. So the one of my first steps, Lindy, is always like, well, do you have a minimum? What do you mean? I'm like, you're not going to get out of bed for this much money. Okay. So like, where does this start? Is it 1,000? Is it 100,000? Is it 20? Like, where does it begin? You have to have a cutoff. You have to know your numbers to that degree. You're not going to go
Mhm.
and lose money just to help someone, right? And do their thing. So we have to understand those. So there is quite a process, like you're saying, to go through to really get this dialed in and out. And I tell so many entrepreneurs, if you'll do this, you watch your business change. Because you'll be so laser focused on how to serve these people. You'll understand what works, what doesn't work. It's awesome.
It is awesome. We did the same exercise. When we started, when I started the business, it was a little bit of like, okay, let's throw
Hmm.
the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, right? Like if we can service everybody.
Right.
And at the time, that was fine for me because I didn't know who to go after specifically. But over time, I started seeing who pays and how old they are. Are they usually men? Are they usually women? Where are they living in the States? And so we started tracking everything because we build a lot of websites. Like
Yep.
we're very transactional. And so we started building these buyer personas and we get so deep now, just like you said, like what do they read? Where do they hang out online? Where do they
Mhm.
hang out offline? Where do they go on the weekends?
Yep.
Because that data, if you can get that data, it's gold because you all of a sudden, if you're putting money towards advertising or marketing, you know where they are. You know where they're going to be at a certain time. It's very powerful.
I think what's cool, think about it this way. So, like, we all have, well, we should all have a few friends in our lives, right? I got a couple. But like when you get together with those friends, you can have conversations every time, right? And you're talking about not the exact same thing, but on the same level, right? If they're comparison, you're like, that's what you're going to figure out. So when they're looking at your website, reading about you, it's like talking to a friend. It's a new person in my circle, right? Because we all got circles. We all hang out with different levels of different people, and wherever we are, they'll say the five people closest to you are, same demographics, same income levels, blah blah blah. But so you start to understand that. Now think about that with your clients. Now you operate because I always with my business, I was a high end water feature builder. Okay, which sounds odd, but like I was eye to eye with my clients. And like I remember once my dad told me, Lindy, he came out and I'm building this beautiful thing for this guy. He asked me like how much I'm charging him. And he looked at me and goes, they they pay you charge that much? They pay that? I'm like, Dad, they can't do what I do for one. Now they could stroke a check for every piece of equipment I have. They could buy me out. Okay, they got a lot more money, but they can't do what I do. Right. And it's not just that, it's what I'm bringing them. Okay, when this is done, this is total tranquility. It looks like it was there before the home, right? And it changes their life. It's a huge benefit to their life, right? Here they entertain around this, right? The whole experience. So I started like laying that out for him. He's like, oh, I never thought of it that way. I know, because you could just build this. You could just build this and be done like it's a thing to you. I go, you've got skills and the equipment, and you could probably do as good. You got some art in you, and everything else, but you're not gonna be better than me. But you could probably pull it off. And so you start to think this way. You go, okay, that's like you understand who you serve, right?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna tell you a really funny story. So I'm doing this huge feature. It's about 150,000 for a waterfall, basically, right? A pond in this guy's house. A beautiful property. We're up by the pool. We're sitting at the table. Him and his wife. The birds are chirping. The sun's out. So we're doing a contract signing. Okay, because obviously that's in person. So I'm signing this, and before I slide it over to him for them to sign, I'm like, I'm going to tell you a quick story about a guy down the road who I did an incredible feature for. Basically, the guy had shafted me about $70,000, right, on this big project. So I'm like, so I told him that, and then I don't recommend anyone do this, but I kind of got away with it. So I had my hand in the contract. I slid it over, kept my hand. I said, "Do you know what I'll do to you if you don't pay me?" And the guy looked at me and goes, "Man, one hit, I'm laying down." I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "Great." And he signed it. He goes, "When you starting?" I mean, so like I said, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but like work, I'm like, just feel me, man. Like I'm not taking another hit like that ever. Okay. But and him became one of my best clients, favorite guys. All we did business together, we did all kinds of stuff. So it was just that moment, but it was connecting. I knew I could get away with that with them, because I connect with them when we're like eye to eye. Yeah, I'm the pond builder. You're whatever gazillionaire you are, man. But I'm telling you, yeah. So I just wanted to share that. So it kind of connects with the whole, like you really have to understand your clients. When you're speaking via website. I mean, think how important that is. That's your first and possibly only opportunity to connect with these people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Your tone is everything. The design too. I have a saying, another saying, which is, or it's really kind of like a analogy. Well, let's talk about dentists, right? If you're looking for, let's say you're not asking your friends or family for a referral, you just moved to a new town. Like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the dentist. All right, well, let's Google, right, our yellow pages. So we Google a bunch of dentists and we start getting on their websites, and you get on one, and it's like, I see this from dentists a lot. You get on one, it's like from 1993.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't, okay. And it's like broken and some of the plugins don't work or just looks bad. It's like, when you see that, do you really want them touching your teeth too?
Yeah. 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 And that's a real common area. Uh, Again, dentists, even docs, stuff like that. They all think they have to have a website, which you do. People are looking for you. That's the first search, but that first point of contact and the whole message in that. Again, they're in it's that's kind of what they call a red ocean, right? There are a lot of dentists,
Mhm.
they're all like, I had a great one for like 20 years. Okay, the guy was amazing, it was kind of, was that pre-website stuff? Almost. Yeah, it was in the beginning, but so you had a whole different animal then. Like now you have to try to communicate and get people, and you're basically building on referral, you know.
Right.
But even just what they were putting on it was just, I'm not reading this, and it wasn't an attention span. It was like, this is not interesting. This has nothing to do with me, Like when they said like story, if people start reading an actual story, not a review, but a story, they're gonna follow that. They don't need bells and whistles. They're gonna like, that's really cool. Like
Mhm.
I do it with a lot of things that we do. Like we put in that story form, like even on a website. I'll give you an example. Here's the team. Oh, meet our team. And you got project manager, you got this. Okay, okay. And they were born here, and I went here, and I did this. I'm like, you're killing me. Like this, no one
Right.
cares. No one cares. Okay. So I said, how about we do this? Why don't we write a story about where they used to work, the negatives about that place, and that why when you're here, it's all sunshine and rainbows, right? I'm obviously doing
Mhm.
high view here, but like, see how that transforms you and why you came here, because you were you didn't have to be subjected to this, and this, right? And we do it this way and this way, and it's one of the most amazing places I've ever worked, and have this like, that's a story they'll read because you start out
Mhm.
with a pain. I was in this terrible. I worked at this place. It was awful. I'm working 80 hours a week, blah blah. And take them through that. People start reading those, and then you get the picture, and it's not a
Mhm.
headshot. It's not the perfect headshot done by. It's like on the site, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're there and you're happy about it. Okay, and like they start seeing that, go, oh, this is like, now someone's going to go read every single person on the team because they've all got these stories. So like, and what does that mean? They're spending time on your website,
Yeah,
right? And
that's
they're
right.
really connecting, going, oh man, wow, this guy really runs a great company.
That's right.
Because again, it's not John the owner who's doing everything. It's all the people who work with them, right? So it's an experience you're going to have when you have this work done, just like a dentist. Okay, whose hands are actually going to be in my mouth? Okay, it's the hygienist, right? Seldom ever is it the dentist. Okay, it's like you see someone else who's got a little mask thing on, and they're gonna, get the drill or whatever. They're gonna clean your teeth. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like if you can build them and bring them to life, okay, it becomes a place that people might actually want to go to and check out.
I agree. Those are such great examples with the about page and the bios. Instead of your CV, let's talk about your why. Why are you here? What happened in your previous job? Like what
Mhm.
is it that, and you can do all kinds of cool, fancy
Yeah.
things with your story. Even, if you're in the service-based industry, I'm a big proponent of case studies without calling them case studies, but
Hmm.
storytelling what
That's
the
it.
engagement was about in a thoughtful way that is a story that will keep the attention of your website visitor. Otherwise, it's like the problem,
Yeah. Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
solve.
I've done the same thing. I've done those with mine. So it's like a really cool story where they were what they're doing. It's not like here, case study, I mean, I get it. You got to label it something, but it could be experiences, customer experiences, client experiences, whatever. And like you go through it, but again, here's the pain, here's the solution, here's an outcome. This is what it's like, but you do it all in the story and where they are today. Because what everyone wants to know, what I always share with everyone, they want to know you understand their pain, and they want to know what the outcome is. What's my life going to look like when I'm done? They don't care about the how. And
No.
that's where a lot of people get stuck on the websites. Too much how, they don't care or want to see the sausage being made. Okay, they want to
That's
smell it
right.
on the grill, and they want to have a party and people over and everyone's eating and loving it, and it's the best they ever had because the ambiance is great. They don't care how it was made. Okay, that's so leave that out. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
need to see before during pictures. I don't need to see any of that stuff. I need to say, I'm here, and then look what I live in now. Isn't that amazing? I don't have any worries. I don't care. It's just beautiful. So, it's one of my big takeaways for people when they're, and it's funny, Lindy, when you think about, like, people don't think this way. And I didn't for a long time. I sold my outcomes. I just get I have a 3-inch binder with all my portfolio, and people look through it and it sells the job because they see in the outcome. No one cared about what it looked like before. They don't care to see all my machines and cranes and swinging 28,000 pound gradles onto islands, but they could care less. I love it. Okay, to me, that's all I want to see. I don't care about them, right? But the customer
right.
only wants to see the beautiful end. They want to see the water, they want to see the rock, they want to see all this stuff, like that's amazing. And that is truly what sells the project, nothing else.
Oh, I bet. It's like, I want that. And
Yes.
with our portfolio, we come across the same things. So people go through I've been looking at the analytics. People will spend a little bit of time on our homepage. They go right to our portfolio page and they go down, they're like, okay, that. And sometimes when we get consults, we have a questionnaire, because
Mhm.
that's how we start the engagement, the conversation. And they'll say, in the Calendly questionnaire, oh, I really like Gary Senna's website. That's what I'm looking for, and it's like,
Yeah.
for us, that's like, whoo, all right,
Yeah.
good. Now we have
Yeah.
something to go by, because a lot
Right.
of clients come to us with just the logo. We're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, if you can get some starting point. Like you said, back in the day when websites were new, 2099 or a little earlier, 2001, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, it was the Wild West. It was half of them had a Lambo and some guy standing next to him, right, selling you the whole get rich quick thing, right? You could do all that. Just everything was a scam. It was unbelievable, just the criminality of what they were at the time. And I'm just looking like, I don't even, I'm just gonna keep putting ads in magazines. I don't know what I was doing. So nothing worked anyway. So it didn't matter to me. People knew me, right? And they saw my work. I was at big shows and stuff like that, and on TV and whatever. So that was good for me. But as I morphed into, like, what is a website and what it needs to be, that became the thing, right? Like, and it was always too much. It was show up and throw up. Okay, way too much information, just way too complicated. Oh, they need a picture, need this and this, and I'm like, uh, okay. And then you do it, you have someone build it, and then I realized it's kind of like an attorney. It's billable hours. The bigger the website, right, the more they're going to charge you. Oh no, no! Look how long that navigation bar is. Wow, you got more stuff in here. Yeah. How about one for my kids? How about a picture of my kids? We'll put that on a navigation bar. You know what I mean? Like, it just was this. It was just a wild thing as you go through this stuff. And I'm really glad I got to do it, right, from pre-web to this where we are now and what's all evolved today. I mean, again, I dropped 41,000 on e-commerce website. Okay, that
Mm.
I realized right after I get done, and this is a testament for, like, knowing what you actually do and who you serve. So they built this beautiful thing for my sculptures, right? All steel sculpture. And I'm looking at it and I go, oh, wait a minute. I don't build two of anything. I'm not building another one of those. I'll never do that. I never, and I'm like, shut this thing down.
20%.
I just said, shut this thing down. It's like a week later. And the guy's like, are you serious? I go, yeah, shut this down. I'm not taking, I only do original. Okay. 41,000 flushed down the toilet in a week. Okay. My wife wanted to kill me. Okay. But I'm like, I can't. Right? No concept. Right. And then he did one for my water feature business, only charged me $8,000 for that. And it was basically pictures. Okay.
Right.
There's some information. I'm like, wow, 41,000, 8,000. I go, man, that's a lot of money. I'm,
Incredible.
you
That's
know,
because you can buy a website for $200 or
yeah, I know.
$40,000. That
I
is,
know. It's just,
now
it's
talk
just,
about the wild, wild
I'm
west.
telling you, it was why I'm just like, and no, it's still no, I have no concept, right? At the time, I'm just like, I don't get this at all. I got to go build something, right? I'm busy building things and doing the thing. So it's cool to see where it's come. And listen, I've built Wix sites,
Mhm.
myself. Yes, they're horrible. Okay. And as soon as I'm going to air quote done, as far as I can go, I'm like, okay, I gotta I got to hire someone. I jump on Fiverr and $200. And she had done like 2 days. Told me to take a
Yeah.
week, 2 days. I'm like, and I'm just going to say it was amazing because what I had to compare it to was what I did. Okay. And it still was, it functioned. It's good. Everything worked and all this. I'm like, okay, cool. Never generated a lead. So I got this thing. Okay. I only spent a little bit, but it doesn't do anything. I might as well have a picture on the wall. You know what I mean? That's about how useful it was. So, let's maybe talk about that a little bit because let's talk about the utilitarian side of websites, right? Let's kind of jump into that because I think that's something we definitely don't know about, whether it's SEO or this or keywords and all that other stuff that we don't ever want to learn about. But you're going to tell us about that stuff right now, Lindy.
Yes, absolutely. So going with the $200 website, as opposed to what let's call it service-based website
Mm-hmm.
outside of e-commerce, as opposed to spending more as an investment into your business. I do believe it does make a difference. And when we're talking about utilitarian, and website functionality, you know, yes, we all feel like we can sit there and we can open up Wix or Squarespace or Webflow and we can just do it really quick. But the time cost in doing that is completely lost. And a lot of people will, you know, resort to Fiverr or someone that they know. And so I think that for us at least at Up in a Day, knowing it's like you don't know what you don't know. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you need in a website. You shouldn't know as a business owner. How could
Right.
you? I mean,
Right.
it's a complicated world of tech, online, SEO stuff, functionality. And I feel like the website should convert. It really should act as your marketing tool. Even if it is a picture on a homepage, it is still where somebody goes to find out more about you, to see the work you do, to see who you are, and then to make the decision whether they're coming from social media or a referral. And so having everything that you need for them to contact you on your site is crucial and making it super, super easy for them to do so. So if it's a chat bot, for example, if it is to send you a message, just make sure it works. Or if it's a form, or if it is, just directly calling you, making sure that functionality on your site actually works and doing a lot of testing and checking it on an ongoing basis to ensure that it is working is super crucial. And SEO, it's so funny, SEO with AI now. I'm still a big believer in SEO. With especially with service-based businesses, local businesses, for example,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I can tick the box on the things that you can need to start with. First of all, there are 3 tiers of SEO. So tier 1 is your basic SEO. That's if you start a website for the first time. Even if you revamp your website, your SEO is going to start over again. It's going to refresh itself. So it's brand new. So the basic, the meta tags, I know that's techie, basically SEO behind your images, explaining what
Right.
they are, like a woman sitting at a chair reading a book inside. All the way to, your page titles and the description of the page and the description of what you do and what you offer. Just all of that covered is your tier 1 SEO. And then you have tier 2, tier 3, whereas tier 3 is basically you're hiring a PR firm to reach out to Forbes and get
Right.
you at Forbes.com to get a link tied to an article with a quote that you said. Like that's getting into the
Mm-hmm.
HR, PR. Um, so that's with SEO. And then having a really strong Google profile, I believe is still really relevant. Whether or not you accept, well, actually, I think you have to accept reviews no matter what if you have a Google profile.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you have your Yelp and your
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I know. I hate to even say that because I've heard horror stories with Yelp. So,
They're extortionists. Let me just put it that way. They're extortionists. Like,
I hear stories. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, like business owners who have had, I don't know, an angry employee
mm-hmm.
or someone who had a bad experience and they get on Yelp and you can actually say this business has shut down or
Mhm.
you can leave a really nasty review and Yelp won't take it off.
Yeah, they're the worst. Like if you ask any business owner, they all have harder words than this. They hate Yelp.
Yeah.
And they're way more colorful in their language. Okay. They
Yeah.
absolutely they hate it with a especially like the gym business. I own the gym and everything. Same like that industry. Oh man,
Oh,
did they hate them. Holy cow, and I get it with the restaurants from the else. I mean, it's they
sure.
just they don't care. They don't put in the stops. They don't put in the protection. They don't care about the business owners. They're 100% about the reviewers.
Mhm.
Okay. But then they'll call you and they want you to spend all this money because you get all this and they can't deliver a thing, right? That does no good, but they'll put one testimony on there or a video about a guy and it is brutal. So you're exactly right on that. And we could share horror stories all day, but the Google it used to be Google My Business. Now it's just business profile. They
Just the
changed.
business profile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they changed a little
Totally.
bit, but that is still a major and really, really important thing locally, especially. And because I've had some great guests on here who actually do that, and what that can do for your business is massive. So you need to
Massive.
tie that stuff in. I mean, it's like a game changer for a lot of small
It is.
businesses. So that's why I'm glad you're talking about this stuff because the meanings that I'm talking about, I mean, the utilitarian aspect, it is all this kind of behind the scenes stuff that you don't get when you build it yourself, right?
Mhm.
Like
Right.
you said, hey, I can knock it out and get it out. It's not performing. It looks pretty, maybe,
Mhm.
okay, but it's not performing. So what? And again, I'll go back to one thing you said before, which I really like, was the time investment. You as the owner, okay, and then if you've ever been in my seminars, you're the highest paid, should be the highest paid employee if you want to look at it that way, but you're the number one. Should you be building a website that you know nothing about? Okay, that's not in what
Absolutely.
we that yeah, that's not in your 5%, what we call your 5%. The 5% of the
Right.
business only you can do. Anybody, anybody can do the website like that. Okay. It's like, you can do it, make it so it's $200 for Wix, and then you pay someone $20, to build it in your office, and you're way ahead, right? Because
Right.
you're
Exactly.
worth a little more than that. Okay. So
Let's unpack that a little bit. Like, why do we think as business owners, we need to sit down and get our website up and running? Is it because we don't know where to turn as small business owners? Is it because we're afraid it's going to cost too much? Or, I mean, it could even be this, like you've put it off for so long that now it's just like you need to get it up super quick, like, and now you're
I,
desperate.
I also think like you have this kind of innate, like it's my business.
Yeah.
I should know everything. I should do everything because that's who I am. And then if I can't do it, then I'm not a good leader. Which is like, that's a whole mindset that we'll talk about in another episode. But it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I've
listen,
been
like,
there.
we were talking this before we started recording. I'm trying to work on developing this leads on Apollo. And I'm like, I'm an hour and a half in, and I'm going, I'm just so, I got to go to the gym, right? I got to go work out. I'm so frustrated. And I'm like, wait a minute. Let me, there's people who do this like all day long and for cheap, right? Like cheap is a relative term, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, and in 10 minutes, I had someone locked in doing it because I was also in a time crunch for this. Like, I can't spend 5 days figuring this out, 5 days, an hour a day. That's 5 hours of my time. Okay. That's thousands of dollars if if you're paying me, right? And now this guy's doing it for 300 and it's done right, clean up and running and going. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't do anything except sign the contract. Okay. So there's tools out there. And as owners, we have to get in this delegation mindset, systemization, right? Process, delegation. You got to go there sooner. I took an hour and 25 minutes too long. Okay. So I should have realized that in 5 minutes. Like, okay, if I can't do it in 5 minutes, there's someone else has to do this. Because man, that sucks you down the rabbit hole and it's horrible.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Um, systems and processes, exactly. We're so big on that at Up in a Day. And I find myself doing the same thing. And I'm better at it now, but I'll catch myself, wait, oh my gosh, this is, $200+ that's going down the drain when
Yeah.
really I could have just hired someone to do it. And you forget, and that's okay. The recognition of that moment is just a lesson learned. Like put a
Mhm.
little sticky note up there so that the next time you fall into that same situation, you're like, oh yeah, you know what? And sometimes I feel like, yeah, well, maybe I should just like understand how to do it so that I know how to give direction later or if it breaks or something. And that's getting in your own way. Like that's
It,
the worst place to be because you're getting in your own way as the business owner. And it doesn't take that much time to give direction to somebody. And once you do and take the time, that's where your time is best spent, is educating and teaching. And then from there, creating those systems and processes for that individual so that they understand the next time you come back. And then all of a sudden you're out playing golf.
and yeah, and there's another thing that we have to remember in this day and age here, 2025. Okay. If I assign that to someone, guess what? Everything they're working on, guess what it all has? Live chat, total support, best AI, everything. Now they can learn it on their own. Okay. I'm going to pay them to learn. I don't need to know anything about it because all I'm going to do is give wrong instruction. Okay.
That's right.
That's what I'm going to do. And then they're going to have to they're going to go to the live chat anyways. They're going to find out how to really do it. They'll do a quick search on YouTube because they're way smarter than me and they'll kill it and get it done. It'll be awesome. And I can't spend any time. It's like, this needs to be done, here, get it done. Right. I get you lay out like what you're looking for, like give them an end result. This is my end result. So this is what I'm going to need to see at the end. I don't know specifically what it's going to take, but you're going to find out. And I'm commissioning you to do this
That's
project,
right.
and I'm going to give you an incredible reward when you get done. And I'm not even kidding about that. Like, you make this happen, I'm going to take care of you. It's going to be a surprise, but you're going to like it. Whatever that is. So you got to give them incentive, right? Because this is like above and beyond their normal stuff. So I always want to reward them. And that might be cash, it might be lunch, it might be whatever. But like, get this finished. It's worth it to
Right.
me. My time and sanity has a very high value in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to the website too. Nobody cares how it gets done. Just get it done and show me what my life is going to be like on the other side.
That's it, right? And
That's
that's
it.
your thing. The Up in a Day. Okay, you got the great title, right? Like, websites Up in a Day. Like, okay, you can tell me more. Okay, tell me more, because I
Yeah.
can't do it in a day. You can do it in a day, and it's done right. And it's like, what's that journey like, right? So it's really it's really important to understand this. We all need all the businesses I work with. I wrote Escape the Owner Prison because of the lack of systems, processes, not delegating right now. Understand what I'm really supposed to be working on. Like, and that's like vision and growing the business, not accounting and website building and a list of other worthless things I wasted my time on, or I ignored. There's another aspect of this, right? When you don't have a system and a process and things get done, I was famous for it goes to the left of my desk and there it dies. Okay. So the stack just keeps growing. It's like it's the graveyard of to-dos. Okay. Like, I'm not going to work. I don't even know what I'm doing with that. Yeah, I'll get to it. And then you don't get to it. Okay. And that was a big part of my demise. 20 years of kind of ignoring that stuff. Eventually, take it from me, 20 years, it'll catch up to you. Okay. It's all good while it's good until it's not. And then you're not going to attack that stack. You're just going to go out of business and put that in the bonfire. You know.
Right. Yes, exactly. It's like the same with the list in the notebook. Like you make this really great list of everything that needs to get done. Next page, do the same thing. Next page, you close the notebook, and all of a sudden it's like a month's worth of things that you need to do, and it doesn't get done.
Yeah, I think the struggle, and I always tell people this too, like, listen, to-do lists they're not a thing to make because you don't assign time to it. You don't have any deadlines to it. It's a list of what you feel is a priority, and seldom do you start with the hardest thing, right? And work your way down from there. And it basically is just this, it's a notebook full of ideas. It's an
Right.
idea to get something done, and it never happens. So, and everyone should be laughing with us because I know you all doing it, right? If you listen, or you've done it right in the past, and it's the most ineffective way to get anything done. It's horrible. And the same thing if you give a to-do list to someone. Okay, like I've had it. I've been married 20, almost 26 years now. You have to learn the process of how to get each other to do things, right? It's not handing someone a list. Okay, it's very ineffective for everybody out there listening. Okay, there's a lot better ways, more creative, and part of that's like, can you have this done by? It's
Mhm.
the open-ended time frame that kills everything. It's a relationship ruiner. I'm telling you. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, any chance
yeah.
we can have this done by 3 o'clock today? Like, try that with a spouse because we're not used to give. That's like giving us hardcore order. Okay. But you're asking, okay, you're asking, any chance we have this done by 3 o'clock? Like for me, Lindy, like if I hear that, I am all about deadlines. I'm all about pressure. Don't know. Can you get this done? When I would get commissions for sculptures, I said, well, when would you like it done? Oh, whenever. And I go, oh, yeah. That time frame doesn't work because the last part of that word is never. Okay.
Exactly.
Whenever. I'm like, that's when you'll get never. But now, if
Yeah.
you need it Tuesday and it's Saturday, it'll be done, whatever it is. Because I'm creative under pressure. I love
Mhm.
deadlines. So like, you just gotta put a time hack on it. All I need is that time,
Right.
and lots of things can get done. So I've learned to kind of incorporate that in my business. Like everything has we have a time, okay, when things need to be done because it's great accountability too.
It is great accountability and it keeps your systems and processes
Mm.
running personally and in the business. We'll have clients come to us during the kickoff call when we're talking about their website and the design and everything. And at the end, we say, okay, well, when would you like your website up and running by? And they'll say, oh, I'm not in a rush, whenever. I'm like, okay, well, let's schedule your review now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
we schedule it based on our production's timeline, and
Yep.
then we work backwards from there. But yeah, so we're like, don't worry, we got you, but we need
Yeah,
that timeline. They may
yeah,
not. And of
yeah.
course, you're delivering so fast that they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank you so
W-
much.
So like I hear this, what you said, and you know what pops into my head? You have no systems in your business. You have no price. If you're not giving me a deadline, at least a day or a week, I'm like, man, there's more going on here, right? I'm like, there's more work to be done. Obviously, that's not your gig per se, right? You're going to build this thing, but I love what you do. You set the day. I tell my clients when they go do an estimate, like so they can go out for remodel, they do the full, they talk to them. I say, so first, I don't allow them to ever send an estimate when they're done with it. You don't never. I will hurt them. I will travel to wherever they're at if they email one, and I will find them. I will hunt them down and say you never send an estimate because all they do is go to the last number, and now they're just comparing totals. They no
Yes,
no values attached to anything. So I'm like,
right.
what you do at that estimate when you're okay, I think I got everything I need. Can we set a date for the review? I'm gonna have a full presentation for you. So how's next Thursday at 4 o'clock? Does that work for you?
Close it.
Okay, excellent. Because now you're on their calendar. You have a deadline to get the estimate finished because that's the problem too with a lot of contractors. Weeks, weeks go by and they don't have it done because they got four more in front of it and they get another call and they're running jobs. So I know we're kind of going off here, but I'm just saying like set those times. Set the time for the presentation in person. They understand, hey, that's also high level service.
It
Emailing
is.
them, emailing them an estimate is like you are so lazy.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't care about them. They're just another number to you. That's all
Mhm.
they are. And whether you believe that or not, or think that, you probably don't. That's the perception your customer gets. And they're not going to hire you because you're so busy you can't even come out and give them a presentation. That doesn't enamor them and say, "Wow, he must be amazing." Okay, no, this guy is schlock. He's disorganized. He can't even set a time to be a president. Like I'll go down the whole list. So I'm a little I'm a little nutty on that aspect in a business.
I am too. We do in because we're not more brick and
Right.
mortar, right?
Right.
We're
Right.
not actually in front of our clients physically. So if there's, if we have to, for whatever reason, usually we close a client during the call because they know they need a site.
Right.
So if it's a good fit,
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
going.
good.
But if they're like, oh, on the fence, can you send me a proposal of what we talked about? Yes, a breakdown. Yes, of course. And one thing I'll do is sometimes if I know it's a really good fit for us, it's like our ideal client, and
Hmm.
I want them to buy, and I know that they're going to get so much value out of working with us, I'll record a Loom video of me on their site being like, listen, this is what we're going to do. I know we talked about it, but let's take a look. And then I'll pull in some examples. It's not long. It's like 1.5 to 3 minutes.
Hmm.
And they love that because you're showing them value, your time, your commitment. You're creating a customer experience for them, and you're building that relationship. And
Yeah.
that's so huge. I always say we're a relationship company because of how we interact with our clients, even with our leads when they come in the door, like the care that we give them and the time and the
Hmm.
value to help them kind of think about what they might need. Now, some people will come to us and they'll say, all right, I need, I have a website, but I also have this brand. So I'm thinking I want two websites. And I'll say, you don't need two websites. Let's put it all together. You'll save $6,000, whatever.
Hmm.
And this is how we're going to structure it. And they love that. I mean, can you
Yeah.
imagine saving $6,000 and not having to manage
Right.
two sites? And yes,
Right.
I could have done an upsell, but like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, we'll do it. But it's long-term
Yeah.
relationship building
Right.
because these clients, even though we're building a website and then we help them along the way after
Hmm.
with support, but technically we are transactional. They come in the door, they give us the money, we build it, and then we send them on the way with the tools that they need. But over time, the referrals, the people that they talk to, or the testimonials that they give you, or when they come back for more, they'll just keep coming back for and back and back and back for more content from
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. We call it LPV, lifetime profitable value. Right.
Yeah,
Well, and even in a transactional business, like they're going to buy, they're going to refer. Right. So we'll call it the drip campaign for you as the business owner is going to continue to nurture them, get them new stuff. Hey, share. Hey, look at this cool website we did for so and so. I know we did an awesome job with yours. I just want to share what we did. What do you think? Like they're like, oh, that's really cool. Hey, could we do that? You did that one thing. Could you do that to mine? Like, boom. Now they're going to pay you again, right? And they're going to keep referring people because you give a crap about them. You mentioned the word relationship, was one of my favorites, right? That's sales. All sales is relationship. I don't care if you're buying a pack of gum or building a $10,000 website, whatever. It's all relational. I tell people from a buyer standpoint, 3% of all buyers are ready to buy now. 97% will not buy right now. So who should you focus on? The 97%, right? What does that take to get them? There's a journey there, right? There's an experience, there's a relationship that has to be built, right? The 3%ers, they either have done all their research, is ready to pull the trigger, or they haven't given it any thought at all, like someone who built a $41,000 e-commerce site and they just go ahead with it, like me. Okay. No thought at all. Just, I got tons of cash. Let's do this. It's cool. So, I am in the camp of the utterly ignorant. Okay. At a
I wish
time, I
we
was
would have
just,
met you during that time.
yeah. Would you like that? Who wouldn't want me as a client? The guy he's like, Midas. He's just giving money everywhere. He don't care. But yeah, pretty stupid. But yeah, it's really important to understand LPV. That's lifetime profitable value, regardless of what business you're in. You've all got it. Whether you're a car dealer, you're a roofer, just because you put a new roof on doesn't mean you're going to see them in 30 years. Hey, I'll see you in 30 years. No, they got siding, they got windows, there's going to be storms, they got friends, right? Like you are in my ecosystem and you're going to stay in my ecosystem for as long as I can, you know?
Absolutely. You know what else is interesting about that is if for us, I'll give us as an
Mhm.
example. So you're creating lifetime value for your clients, for yourself. You're building this beautiful relationship. You love who you're working with. You have your ideal client avatar. It's that person. And as you have that atmosphere or that ecosystem with them, that I love that word. over time, you start to understand their needs and their habits and what they're looking for, and you kind of see how their business is growing or not growing. And it helps us to find new services and products to offer those clients,
Right.
and then we grow.
Yeah, if you think technology is standing still, you need to kind of wake up from your dream you're having, because that stuff is changing like you can't even put a time frame on it. It's so stupid fast. Again, which adds to someone like what you do. Seriously, the good news of that is that's part of your LPV. There's always the next new thing, man. And people should, I mean, come on, a website isn't static. It's going to work for a while. Then you got to change it. You got just people going to see the same thing, right? You got to shake up. There's going to be, and that might even be, hey, drone photography. Cool. We're going to put that on. I got some really cool stuff. It's awesome. We're going to do this. It's, hey, we came out with a new coffee table edition of our work. Like you should check it out, and then we hand these out and we go to new clients, they get this whole beautiful thing and all this. I mean, there's all this stuff that if you're creative from a business standpoint, you've got to generate additional streams of income
Yeah.
within your business and continue to serve your clients at the highest level, and thinking that you have to know that giving them more is good. Them paying you for giving them more is even better.
Mhm.
Okay. It's because everybody wins. And that's the relationship you want. We all want win-win. You get to do great things for them. It does great things for their business. Why don't they like you? Of course, they love you. It's great, right? That's all of our goal in business, I think.
I think so too. Why are we in business anyway? We're, in service, as a service-based provider, we love helping people. We love making people happy. We love bettering their lives, not just their work lives, but their home lives too. You can see it resonate. I mean, people who come to us are like almost in tears because they got burned on their website, or they're just frustrated.
Yeah.
And they can be we have 3 touch points with our clients. They can go back to running their business and doing their thing. We're building the website. They see it and it's like they cry when they see the site. We're like the
Yeah.
HGTV of websites,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
We're the
Yeah.
website fixer-uppers. And it's amazing to see how stalled business owners get in their business when their website isn't working for them
Right.
because they're so embarrassed by it or it's not working, and everything stops, especially for solopreneurs.
Yeah.
They get cold feet because they don't start their marketing efforts because they don't have anywhere for someone to go to convert.
Yeah.
It's
They just
amazing.
go, yeah, they go back to hustling. I'm going to hustle harder. They're not letting the tools work for them. They're not going, like I was talking with a client the other day, and I'm like, well, do you ever use a heat map? And again, I'm no super tech guy, but I know a lot. Okay. So they're like, he goes, what's that? I go, like where people spend time on your site. He goes, oh, I go, wouldn't that matter? Like, are they looking at the navigation bar then leaving? Are they looking at one thing? Where are they spending their time? Like, that's a simple thing. And what's amazing, Linda, is a lot of these, I'll call them website developers, they're not using these tools. They're not offering them. I mean, make it an upsell. I don't care, but like let them see this. Like here, I mean, analytics, data. We got to track and we have to measure everything in our business. That's the big thing. And if you can use simple tools like that, you got to know this thing is producing for you. I mean, yeah, it looks pretty. Okay, great. You ever meet that really good looking guy or that really beautiful woman and like, you talk to him for like 2 minutes and you're out? Like there's nothing there. Okay. Like she's really, but there's nothing inside. Okay. I got to go. Okay. We can't get past the weather conversation. Okay. I got to go. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's got to look good and like have something, it's got to be a complete package. So I'm just saying like, that's as a business owner for what you do, that's the goal and that's what you deliver. Right.
Mhm.
You understand that. But as a consumer business owner, as a consumer of that website, we need to understand what kind of tools can we get? How do we know it's working? Like what are the analytics? Because I will tell you, dealing with like some SEO companies or other thing with other clients, they're giving me all the techie, nerdy stats that mean nothing to an entrepreneur. I'm like, listen,
Mhm.
man, I put this much in. How much am I getting out? I'm a simple
It-
man. Okay. I just
exactly.
need to know.
It's white noise.
Yeah, I go, I need like 3 numbers. Okay, give me the three, all this stuff, your impressions, and all that. That'll mean that's cool for you guys. You get all giggly about that. I, they mean nothing to me. I can't deposit impressions in the bank.
Exactly.
Okay, I
Yeah,
need
that's
to
right.
know, right? I need to know what I can deposit in the bank from this website. What are you
Yeah.
doing for me? Like show me those numbers. This should be a 2.5 minute conversation. Okay, show me that or send me a report with those things. Leave the rest. Save the digital paper, if you will. I don't need that nonsense. It's just
I agree.
it's just cluttering my screen. Just give me the high points. That's
The
me.
high.
Yeah.
I I'm one to always do something to do it differently. Like I
Mhm.
don't like following the herd. I love to think outside of the box and to do it better than everybody else. But to do it better, understanding our ideal clientele and what they actually need and just keeping it simple, stupid, but
Mhm.
really like understanding what is it that everybody else is doing. So we'll talk about SEO for a second. So we also provide SEO subscription
Mhm.
services for clients who are on our platform, or sorry, individuals who are on the web builder platform we use or clients. And you're right, like nobody understands or wants to hear what impressions are. And it doesn't matter like how many hits to
Right.
your website. Well, probably like 30 per month are coming from Russia or somewhere in Asia.
Right.
And it
Right.
doesn't matter. Like let's talk about what's really happening on your website. And so when we're providing the analytics back, we're also saying, also we're seeing this on, this page of your website, and this is why it's not converting. And we really give them solutions along of what they can do on their own, or they can hire us to do it so that they can have better results on their website. Because if they don't have good results on their website, then they're going to stop working with us and they're going to cancel that
Right.
subscription.
Right. I mean, come on. There's two things you do in business, right? Two things: get clients and keep clients. Okay, we got to think about the keep client part. Okay, a lot of people are pretty good at getting them, but can you keep them? And that's what you're talking about right there, right? Really you have to understand that there's built-in service capabilities for your business to your client, right? It's not just build this thing and it's not one and done. Anyone
Mhm.
who's thinking they're a one and done company, product or service, like oh, I let me come in for like 6 months and I'll keep all the money, yeah, additional money I make for you on the other stuff. I'll make a fortune. Okay, you can keep getting the one thing. I'll come make all the other money. Okay, so I'm like, just let us show you how. You really got to think. And now I know why you left corporate, because you're a contrarian. If you're a contrarian, I don't even know how you stayed in corporate. Okay, when you don't want to go with it. I mean, oh my gosh, yes. Well, I'm not going to go down. It's I have been one since birth. Okay, I was born a contrarian, so I have never gone with the herd. But that's awesome. So let's do this. This has been amazing. We hit, and everybody, as you know, on STS, we have no plan. We just go with whatever. It's going to start off this and ends up with that. And this, we hit such great topics, Lindy. Like, man, we cover some really good stuff. Awesome conversation. So let's do the most important thing. How do people get in touch with you? Check out what you've got. They need a site in a day or whatever. They need an upgrade on what they have. How can they find out if it is performing? Whatever all that is, where do they go?
Yeah, well, you can head to our website. It's upinaday.co. Just note the CO. We don't have this .com. You can find me on LinkedIn. It's Lindy-Nowak, or just type in Nowak. And we also offer, this is actually something cool that I don't see a lot. We offer website audits, and it's basically a roast of people's website
Mm.
for a small fee, so that you can understand. I think it's good for everybody, so that you can understand what's really happening on your website and
Yep.
how to fix it before you make that huge investment.
Yep.
So we also
I
offer that.
I love that. And that is right now, I'm just gonna tell you, do that. Contact Lindy and do the audit of your site. I'm serious. Like, I don't care who built your site. Like, audit that thing. Okay. So you have a
Yeah.
starting point, like, oh, look, it's killing it in this, but this isn't working so well, right? Not everything breaks on a car, right? At the same time. It's
Yes,
so
exactly.
let's go find out what's not performing. Let's get a couple more, a few more horsepower, a little more horsepower, right? How do we do
Mhm.
that? How do we soup this up? The vehicle might be good, but the engine needs some tweaking, right? That's what we got. Yeah, good looking site, but hey, do the audit, find out what that is, and then make a move on that. Just having that information. Again, numbers matter, data matters, analytics matter. It's an ongoing thing you have to do, okay, with your business. Again, nothing's ever static, right? We're going forward or going backwards. So this has been just awesome. I mean, these are great tools, guys. Look this stuff up and just take action, because stop going, yeah, I will. And then put in your to-do list that goes in the notebook that you never do anything with that we talked about earlier. Okay. This is not a thing on the to-do list. This is get it done now. Okay. Do it now. Do it now. Din din. That's the din din list.
You needed it yesterday.
That's right. You need it yesterday. Yeah. There's no time like yesterday. Okay. When you should have got things done. All right. That's where we're at. So Lindy, thanks for the time today. This has been just fantastic, as I knew it would. And for everybody else, we'll see you on the next Sharpen the Spear podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Sharpen the Spear podcast. If today's episode helped you think sharper, act smarter, or see new profit potential, do me a favor. Share it with a fellow home service owner and leave a quick review. Ready to find the profit hiding in your business? Head to sharpenthespearcoaching.com and book your free profit discovery call today. And until next time, keep sharpening.